Hey everyone, welcome back to Storytime Speed Edit, where I talk over my edits that have been sped up. In this speed edit, I was using a software I was not familiar with. They had a post on Instagram offering a 30-day trial to use for making a scary, spooky horror edit for October. This was back in 2024. The name of the software is Boris Effects. This is not an ad, just talking about an editing software I tried out. I used this image and prompt from my weekly assignments that I was already working on. I had planned to go back into Boris Effects and do an edit that was more in line with the contest, but life got busy and this image was the last one I did for my weekly assignments in 2024. So the prompt for the edit was unusual perspective, and I was playing with the idea of kids, specifically babies, being able to see things that adults don't. This was changing the unusual perspective prompt from the usual in-camera angle to a heavily edited image with special effects. Doing photo editing like this one and others from my weekly assignments that are on the Happy Accidents Instagram page are really fun to do. Messing with the colors and adding various color grading and textures is what I like about photo editing. It definitely beats the simple color correction, blemish removal of normal portraits. Having fun with the editing of this photo is what helped push me to try doing more artsy edits and led to the Navajo Tea Time, the Silence They Left intro edit. And doing that intro edit had sparked my joy in wanting to do more artsy edits. There have been many small reasons why Happy Accidents hasn't done more contracted work this past year, and wanting to do more projects that are fun for us is a major one. We started getting put in a box of working with nonprofits, which isn't a bad thing on the surface, but the products they wanted from us are very basic and bland. The editing had become something I could do in like an hour and be half asleep while doing the work. I wanted to be able to dive deep into my editing software to see what special effects and artsy edits I could produce. That is one goal for me for my personal development section, is to be more familiar with my editing software and get more comfortable with creating more intense edits. As mentioned in the previous video, I am starting to seriously use GIMP for my photo and image edits, but I also have DaVinci Resolve, the free version, and I know there is more I can do within the software. I just need to plan the time to sit and work on those projects. One thing I need to do is go back and redo my goals, because as things have progressed and collaborating with others, my goals for this year have already drastically changed, not even being a month into the year. um, I did a second planner date with Crystal on February 4th, and on February 5th, me and Adrian went live with Navajo Tea Time. We announced that we're taking a longer break because there are some big things we want to do that are going to take time, planning, and funds. So if you want to be able to support us, we have a Buy Me a Coffee account, and if you become a Zucchini member, you get 10% off our Fourth Wall site. Even if you don't become a Zucchini member, we still have a Fourth Wall site that has merch and designs from various projects that we do. There's Navajo Tea Time designs, naming our monster merch, and designs that Algernon has done on his live streams. At the start, it took me a moment to get used to the Boris Effects interface, but after watching some of the tutorials that they have on their site, I really got the hang of it. One of the things that I really liked about this editing software was that the alpha masks were very easy to set up, adjust, and copy. With all of the other editing softwares that I have used, The alpha masks have always been a cause of a headache for me, so much so that I just forget using them. They can be really helpful and are really helpful for editing, but I just can't seem to figure out how to use them properly in the other editing softwares that are out there. And so I end up just using like the select tool a little too much, as you've probably seen in my past photo edits with the Photopia. I did figure out how to use alpha masks in DaVinci, mainly for the music video we were doing for Urian and naming our monsters. But then there was like a lull in me doing, well, like there was that edit, and then went back to nonprofit edit where it's just simple cut, slice, put together. So when I went back to try and use the alpha masks again for a different edit, I forgot how it works, and I think the setup and the interface got changed from Resolve 19 to Resolve 20, and so I need to go back in there and get refamiliar with that part of DaVinci Resolve. And that's why I try to keep doing projects like my weekly assignments and Navajo Tea Time so I don't forget how to use my software. I also really liked the filters and effects that Boris Effects came with. I believe that was one of their main selling points. From my understanding of reading the contest rules and stuff is back in 2024, it was to use the effects, filters, and other add-ons that they have within the software to jazz up the image. And again, this is not an ad, just me giving my feedback on the editing software I tried. Using the filters was also an enjoyable thing. As you see in the speed edit, I spent a lot of time moving and adjusting the filters around, trying to get them to be in the exact place. And it was very simple and intuitive, like just moving those circles around and creating those different shapes and stuff within the software on top of the image. I hope you liked this storytime speed edit, and if you did, hit subscribe. One of my goals for Happy Accidents is to get back into doing these speed edits, to be more consistent with them. I think I have like 2 or 3 in the past. So to keep doing these speed edits, I have to keep on top of actually editing photos and images, and those edited photos and images eventually will be put onto the Fourth Wall site or the Buy Me a Coffee site for sales, because the main goal for Happy Accidents is to start making a profit and really trying to get these zucchini sales and things going so that we can start funding bigger projects that we want to work on. Also, I'm talking a lot about goals because a fellow Change Labs alumni and I have started this planner date group. We want to meet in person and over Zoom regularly to check in with our goals and help others with planning, goal setting, and trying to be accountable to getting things done. So basically, all of these projects and collaborations feed into each other and help me stay on top of my work. So if I start slowing down in one thing, that'll affect another thing that affects another thing. So having them all linked and interconnected hopefully will help me stay on top of them and be accountable for the work I'm doing. Anyways, thank you for watching. Hagonet.